Hey, everybody, and welcome to Movie Guys Podcast presents our review of Suicide Squad. I hope everybody's interested to listen to our review as I am to talk about it. I'm joined, of course, with my guys, Eric and Ed. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm hoping that our podcast was better than this movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're good.
I'd say it could be better. It's
No.
going into this, and there's so much hype that goes up into every movie that seems to be released, especially with the Warner Brothers or DC tag on it too. And hypes doesn't work as well as you want it to sometimes.
Okay. Meaning that you guys think that this movie was overhyped.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, and it's not to anyone of like the movie production or the PR group. I think that a lot of the fans were excited for it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like there was a lot of people, a lot of buzz around it saying, "Okay, we wanted this. It looks like a pretty all-star cast. It looks pretty cool. We like the concept of Suicide Squad. We're excited for it." So I think
Sure.
people were excited because they wanted something like this.
Especially because it was like the first visual adaptation of Harley Quinn that I can remember in film.
You're right.
And
Yeah.
I love Harley Quinn. Like I've a weird nerd on for Harley Quinn. Like it's just she's my favorite character of all time.
I think a lot of
Wow.
people like Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
But yeah, this probably is the first live action, and very very well so, by the way, too. I thought she did a fantastic job.
And they do pay homage to the cartoon because they do have her in the Jester outfit
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
at
It
one
is there.
point.
You're right. Very much so. So I mean, yeah, but we obviously get more into it about everything else too. But I don't know where you want to start with this. I really don't even. I'm just disappointed. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's all right. No, I mean, like, okay, so I guess I'll be the guy who is not disappointed. I'm not disappointed. But okay, so we're gonna start with this with the hype and our expectations of it. And of course, we're talking like we always do all the time. I think this is getting negative flack from everybody because it's not what they wanted, and I agree with them on this because Warner Brothers has already said when this is released on Blu-ray, they were releasing the unrated R version just like they did with Batman and Superman. That's what they're doing with all their films, by the way. I don't know if you guys know this or not.
But that's just
But
it. Like, there's so much pressure for it, for Warner Brothers to kind of make it something. I actually don't even know what the hell they're doing. And it really is disappointing when you have Disney that gives all the freedom for Marvel to do what they need to do. They just know Disney knows what Marvel needs to do, and they say, "Listen, we know that you guys are going to do what you need to do. This is what you created. You've spent 50, 60 plus years doing this shit. Like you know what your baby is and needs to happen. Here's the money. Do it." And it's working to billions of dollars of profit for them too. It works. So why does Warner Brothers say, DC, we're not sure if you know what you're doing. We're gonna step in and
I'm
do it.
I'm wondering if it's not like because they want money on the front and the back end of it because like we all know that DVD sales are way down, and electronically you can buy a movie for $6. Okay, so the money, I don't want to know about margins. I don't know what the margins would be digitally, but the money's just not there on the back end anymore. So I'm wondering if they're not purposely making. I don't think that they're trying to make bland movies, but they're trying to create people to want to buy the DVD because they're going to give you the director's cut and the actual good version of the movie.
I don't
Right.
think they were doing that on purpose for the back end. I mean, they have come out and said that they feel that these movies need to be mass marketed, and Marvel's doing it because their characters are more easier to stomach than some of the DC characters.
And
So
that's
that's what
true.
they're
I guess
doing this.
DC's a lot darker. Like
Yeah.
if you get into Batman and you get into some of the depths of hell that Batman is, it's really dark. And the ideas of like the Joker and I guess mostly it's all Batman. Now that I think about it, is it's dark. But I guess I could agree with that concept that they're trying to give it a more mass appeal. I guess.
Because it's already going to make its money back. I mean, the movie was made for I think 107 something million,
75 is what I see.
and it's already grossed 129 million. I checked this morning. I don't know if it's changed as of this morning.
I see 135 from Box Office
One
Mojo.
135. So it's going to make its money back. They did what they needed to do. Ed and Eric, I guess to your question on it, why is this like this? Is because they're not confident with it. They're confident with Batman, and they haven't been confident with Batman until Nolan came out and did his trilogy. Then Nolan could do whatever he wanted to do. They're not confident with these people yet. They're not confident with Harley Quinn. They don't know what people are going to think of her or any of these other characters. Hell, they weren't even confident with Jared Leto as the Joker because he was barely in this movie to begin with, which I'm very disappointed about.
Well, you got to take that with a grain of salt though, because they only put the Joker in it to give you backstory on Harley Quinn and to move the story along. You know what I mean? Like this movie has nothing to do with the Joker. You know what I mean? It's a Suicide Squad. It's the group of bad guys that get together because the enemy of my enemy is my friend, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And they don't tell that story at all in this one. They give it a completely different spin. And I'm not near as up on DC as I am Marvel. So Eric, you're going to have to correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
But I think that they sort of like really forced this movie, and they made. I felt like my intelligence was insulted.
Oh God, no! I don't think that at all.
Like with the katana stuff, like most people don't know because she's an ancillary character, like kind of sort of like not ancillary. She's a background character, but like just the way that they say like, better watch out, don't let her cut you. Her sword can hold your soul. Like people, I get that people don't know that, but they just say it in such a dumb way.
No,
It just comes off
agree.
as dumb.
I agree that every part of the character introduction was done rather poorly, really. I have a lot of gripes about this movie, and before I go into that, I'll just say one thing too: the Christopher Nolan Batman's was not DC. That was Warner Brothers and Legendary Pictures, and then what's that? Syncopy, Nolan's shit. But
good point.
Yeah.
Okay, I stand corrected.
So
What?
the newer part of
Yeah.
a lot of the Batman movies, the Superman movies, the Snyder Universe has been heavy DC involvement, but with still Warner Brothers still very much holding the stick.
Well, you said you were wanting to talk about your gripes. I guess I want to start with my gripe, and it's the beginning of the movie. The beginning of the movie, it started off so weird for me. I don't know if it started weird for you guys. So tell me if I saw something different. But when I saw this in the theaters, I saw this Friday, and it was a packed theater, by the way. There was a lot of people. I had to sit at the very, very front, with my head going all the way up to look at the screen to
Ugh.
watch the flick, and which is weird for a 2 o'clock showing on Friday. But anywho, but the movie opened up with the Warner Brothers logo, the DC logo, and then it went to Deadshot and Harley Quinn, and then Suicide Squad, and then it went into the backstories again for the next 45 minutes. Is that the same kind of beginning you guys had?
Yeah, it just they again. I think that they sort of go way too much into backstory. Like, I get that most people. I mean, it makes sense to me that most people don't know like a lot of the characters. You know what I mean? But there's no need to go that much into detail. I mean, okay, Deadshot is not really a known character, but they screw it up. By the way, people know Harley Quinn. And I mean nobody knows. The Killer Croc, and not too many people, unless you've watched like Arrow and the Flash, Captain
No,
Boomerang. And
you would
stuff
know
like
Killer Croc from Batman cartoon, the '90s one. He was the gray crocodile looking guy.
Okay.
If you remember, if you were a fan of that. But go on.
Yeah, it's just to me they like you're right, Jordan. They tell you, they give you the two main characters. They give you Deadshot and Harley Quinn, and then they sort of go back in the present. Like they go sort of tell the story, and then they go back and they reintroduce the other people, and then like it's not well put together. It was ill conceived, I thought.
Yeah, I would agree. You know what? And that was a big gripe about that I had too. Is that as they're doing this intro, first off, if you notice this too, they kept the playlist going. Like in the first 10 minutes, I think I heard 5 different songs that
Oh,
would
good
play.
point.
Do you know what I
Good
you know what I mean?
point.
I
Yeah.
don't know why. I mean, but it stood out enough to where it bothered me. Just like we don't need that. And it seemed like those two introductions of the characters kind of were there just to fulfill the contractual obligation that maybe they had to Will Smith and Margot Robbie. Will Smith seems, and from what I hear, he is very like tight on his contract, and that's probably why Deadshot just kind of had to have like a lot of camera time, a lot of dialogue, a lot of everything in this movie, and really he didn't need to be. So with that, came to that part, ooh, excuse me there. With that part there, I actually feel that I don't think I like Will Smith in this role just because it didn't do well for the character. It was Will Smith playing once again Will Smith. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like it was one of the things that solidified how good I thought this movie would be. I mean, the fanboy in me was always super excited as soon as they announced the idea of Suicide Squad. But the thing that solidified it for me was the fact that I can't think of a movie that Will Smith has picked in the last decade that has been bad. Some have been better than others. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that like Hancock's the greatest film of all time, but like I still enjoyed it, I still liked it. It wasn't bad, so that solidified it for me. And I was just like, I can't emphasize enough how disappointed I was in this movie.
You need an
You
action guy to turn to the camera and say, "Damn," every once in a while. That's it.
you're forgetting, and sorry, and Ed, you're forgetting After Earth. That movie was atrocious, but that's okay.
We'll blame
Um,
Jaden Smith for that one.
yeah.
Well, yeah. Well,
Look, guys.
Well, no, actually, we'll blame M. Night Shyamalan for that one.
okay.
I'm not saying that I think this movie is great. I think Ghostbusters is better. I think this is the second worst film that we reviewed this year. But I realized that after the 45 minutes of backstory, because if you notice, there's a lot of movie that is. Oh God. Okay, I'm sorry. I guess I get my words twist. There's too much movie because we get what's her name, Amanda Waller, whatever.
Waller.
Yeah.
Waller. We get her whole backstory of her putting this team together, and the first seriously, half an hour, 40 minutes of the flick.
Yeah.
She's in this. She's in this restaurant, this fancy restaurant, eating steak, just saying, "Oh, this is about Harley Quinn," and we get 15 minutes of Quinn and 10 minutes of Joker and 15 minutes of Deadshot. It was like, really? This is what we're doing?
They
Like
they
it
picked
didn't
up
seem right.
they picked up right where Batman and Superman left off with Superman's death. They
Yes.
went right into that and into that stuff like that. Now, from what I understand too, is that they wanted to do a lot more Joker into this, and a lot of the re-edits and the recuts were because of them trying to make it less dark because Joker seemed to be making it more dark, and they wanted to make it a little more less, a little more lighthearted or something like that. I think that's what they're trying to change the feel, which again they probably shouldn't have done. I don't know. This movie just seemed bland. It just seemed lame to me. Like it just seemed very just kind of like, well, here's this character and here's what they do. Here's this character and here's what they do. They all don't get
Yes.
along, and they're gonna come together for this thing right here. And then the boss, again, I'll call it a boss. It's not even an end villain. It's a boss because we're gonna destroy everything. We're gonna stay in this building. We're gonna take 2 hours to set up, you know, and then tell the plot to everything, and then do the end fight scene, and then everything blows up, and nobody's injured. You know.
Yeah, which I kind of want to hold off on the Joker real quick because I think that is our big moment. Because I really want to talk to you guys about the Joker because I've been waiting a year to see this performance. But I want to talk about a no-name character that was heavily rotated in the trailers that got 10 seconds of screen time and his head blown off. Slipknot. That happens.
Mm-hmm.
That makes no sense. And for the people who have not seen the movie yet, and you're confused about what I just said, this Amanda Wheeler person puts these explosive microchip things in their brains, kind of like Mission Impossible 3 style. And if any member of the Suicide Squad decides to go rogue, then they will use this device to blow up their head, essentially. And they were introducing this guy named Slipknot in all the trailers, pretty much, from the beginning till now trailers. And he's in it for 5 minutes. He goes up a building with his Slipknot thing, and he gets his head blown off. I'm like, really? I think this happens? That was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really bad. Killer Croc. Look, what a stereotype, racist character Killer Croc
Yeah.
was. He was a black guy with bad skin. He might as well have been Michael Jackson. It was terrible.
It was.
You have a point, and then you just ruin it right there.
No, I didn't, because Michael Jackson was a black guy that had a bad skin. I'm just saying.
Well, no, I get it. Yeah, it was a 2016 black guy playing a 1990 black guy. You know, like it was so very. I don't know, man. I feel like Spike Lee and Robert Townsend kind of fought to go against that stereotype.
It felt very Dynamite.
Yeah,
to me,
exactly.
You know.
I want BET in myself. It's like, God damn it, dude. Like,
Yeah, that was bad. That was
Yeah.
bad. Diablo, I like that we got more backstory of Diablo because his backstory is that he's always had this power of just having fire shoot out of his hands anytime he wants. I kind of thought it was interesting that he could make figures like people out of his fire. That's interesting. His backstory was interesting, but then when I completely fell out of love with him was that in the movie he fights one out of the two bosses because I'm going off what you said, Eric. And he goes, "I'm going to show you my true form," and he's a giant voodoo doll.
yeah.
I'm like, what? What is this? And I even wiki Diablo, and that never happens in the comic.
Yeah, again, a lot of it just didn't really. I don't know. No, I do know because at the same part, like these are people who all establish that they're crazy, they're sociopaths, and they're loners. They don't like dealing with anybody else. They even say Boomerang doesn't work well with others. They even say that Harley Quinn doesn't. Whatever the hell, it just a whole bunch of stuff, and then it takes them all but what 2 hours into a mission to go. You know what, guys? We're a family. And
Mhm.
Well, all of them do. I don't think Harley is because Harley leaves them, which I want to save that for later. But
I'm just
yeah, oh
saying,
yeah,
like
oh yeah,
for
100%
plot building
agree
and stuff
though.
like that, it just seemed like everything was really really forced. And when this was first announced, I felt that it was DC's answers to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Nice.
Let's take an obscure kind of comic that was later on in our heyday type thing, where it's
Mhm.
just a ragtag kind of misfit characters who just really one from over here and one from this shelf and one from this shelf and one from this shelf and throw them all together and they go on an adventure. Yeah, I felt that was their part. And what Marvel did is that dog want to come on the podcast? And
Sorry.
I think what Marvel did is that it did it a lot more fluidly and organically, where it didn't give you the backstories, but you knew well enough who these characters were, what they were about, what their motto is, and just kind of without giving the flashback thing. But this movie was just kind of like, okay, chapter one, Deadshot. Chapter two, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Chapter 3, Suicide Squad. Chapter 4, Diablo. Yeah, and so on and so on and so on. It just seemed like
Mhm.
it was just kind of like move it from one to the other, and then let's put them all together. And it just didn't really. I don't. It just
No,
didn't really
yeah.
flow. It didn't flow at all. It just felt really choppy. And then you could tell which each chapter starting with the new music. Oh, it's a new Queen song. Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Eminem song. Oh, must be the part where they get their guns and
Yeah.
I
And
really
Well,
was just bored.
and I'll even go on and add this. It's like people who watch a lot of like the DC universe TV shows. Like I like the Arrow, I like Flash, but I haven't seen a lot of the episodes. I went to go see this movie with somebody who actually knows quite a decent amount about them, and she's nowhere near as nerdy as us. Don't get me wrong, but she loves Arrow and she loves the Flash, and she even brought up the points that like even though it's a different world, it's a different universe. Like Amanda Waller is a much bigger See You Next Tuesday in the comics and in Arrow than they bring her out to be. They just sort of make her like just a government official in this movie, and they sort of like they develop everything backwards. I think it's very much a feel good movie that just it's not designed to be like what was written about these characters and who these characters are and what we know and what they even develop here in this story is they try to say a few things about these characters and then they at the end all of a sudden it's like nope, now we're good guys but we're the bad guys
Right.
and we're gonna go do our thing and no we can't go do our thing we're going to listen to authority like that doesn't make sense to me. This whole movie just doesn't make sense to me.
well, to go on your Amanda comment, I think that they forgot to cut out a scene to make this even more PG-13 was I think you're wrong in the aspect that she's not developed because she goes batshit insane and mercifully murders all of her helpers in that room. Like just guns them down because they know too much. And I think that was a scene that they forgot to cut. And because of that, you know more about this bitch where it's like, she just doesn't give a shit. I mean, I found her character to be interesting, because she just murdered all those people for literally no reason. And I thought that was a character point that we needed to explore more of.
Well, but if you got to keep in mind that she made the Suicide Squad do their first mission to come rescue her. It wasn't about saving the city. It was about to rescue her.
True
which was
that.
a stupid mission, but not
Oh,
as stupid as Enchantress. I loved Enchantress. This was great. I loved this actress who played her. I don't know her from anything, but I liked what she did,
Smoking
and
hot. Smoking hot.
she's
Mhm.
really, especially as Enchantress. Oh my god,
Yeah.
I was the only one in the theater. Oh my god, but she can possess me any day. But her plot was stupid. It's like somebody has my heart, so I have to do their bidding. Oh, I've seen that before. I think it was called Dead Man's Chest in Pirates 2. I could be wrong. And then and then she decides to take her heart back, and now she wants to resurrect her brother from some random black guy in a bathroom in a sub, or I'm sorry, in a subway. And now she's the villain and he's the villain. Really? I was not expecting the Enchantress to be the villain. I thought it was going to be something less, something like, some terrorist cell overseas somewhere that they got to fight. Not this. This was weird.
I agree.
It was really weird.
Whatever. Yeah. To be quite frank, I think that the boss was too big for first movie. Like there was too much of a threat for first movie. They should have gone with something a little bit
Oh,
more.
good point.
Well, I mean something a little less challenging type thing instead of this person who just completely wipes out like half the city, and does all like this otherworldly power and stuff like that too. Maybe having Enchantress just kind of not be the main villain in the first part or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe develop more of just kind of these people and their powers. I think the first movie should have been about the introduction of the characters, not about all the entire action, in which they went completely the other way around. They said, all right, well, we'll set up characters so you know more about them, which they did all wrong, I think. And then they just went right into the action, pretty much. So, first quarter of the movie set up, the second part is just going to be straight action and all they're doing their abilities, and that's where all the budget went pretty much. And it's they should have went with something a little more tame for the boss. Someone who was very beatable. Do you know what I mean? Who was still a threat, but still very beatable. Enchantress just seemed like completely fucking otherworldly. Like that, her brother was just doing some crazy shit, and then all it takes for these guys to dodge him is just to duck and roll out of the way. Uh, they go out and they're fighting her, and she's doing some crazy Nightcrawler teleportation shit where she's just like, teleport, teleport, and she's fighting all this. And at the end, she's like, all right, I'm tired of this. And then with one hand motion, all the guns and blades fall out of their hands. It's like, you didn't
Yeah.
start with that shit. Why wouldn't you just open with that, lady? It's so, okay.
Yeah.
Like, you could do
What
that
was
the
her
entire
weapon?
time?
What was her weapon? What was her big weapon at the end? I don't know. I
She had
don't know what
she
that
had
was.
two blades that she was messing around with, and
No, not that one. Not that one. The one that she was building for the half of the movie. The circle thing in the sky.
exactly,
What was
exactly.
that?
What was that? It was a spell or something like that. We don't know what it is, but I do know one thing: that we can blow it up. That we can just,
With
I,
C4.
yeah, exactly. We don't know anything about this, but I know we can just throw this thing in here, and Deadshot's gonna take the final shot because it's in his contract, and it'll blow up and it'll save the day. That was, I think, dumb as shit too. They could have. I would have been more believed if they were to stick with this. That's fine. Have it cut it open. Have him take the heart out. Do some maybe some love dialogue between the two, which I wasn't sold on that by the way either. And then crush the heart. She dies. The spell falls. That's probably how I think they should have done it, rather than it being let me throw a bomb in here and have Deadshot shoot it, and then
Yes.
it just blows up. Like,
Eric, I agree with majority of things that you said. The only thing I'm going to debate you on is I don't think they should have started the movie with character development. I think they should have started movie one with just Joker and Harley, because I want to talk about these two. Oh my God, did I have a nerd boner every time these two are on screen, and not even individually, together. Jared Leto is awesome as
both of them,
Joker. Oh
both
my
of them
God,
were very
he
good.
was. It's
Mhm.
like he was playing. He was playing definitely he was playing like an asexual Joker. Because sometimes he has that really, stereotypical festive voice, and you're thinking he's gay, especially with the way he acts towards other men. And then you have other times you're completely afraid of him. I loved his gangster look. But those scenes in the trailers of him being introduced and him saying, I'm not going to hurt you, I'm just going to hurt you bad. I'm not going to kill him, I'm going to hurt you bad. That seemed like a big scene. And that was just 10 seconds of backstory.
Again,
that
they
just
cut
was
out a lot. They cut out a lot of
Cut.
Joker. They cut out like 20 minutes of Joker, I think.
It was ridiculous. And I know that that Margot Robbie and Jared Leto did sign on to do 3 flicks. Not Suicide Squad, but as Joker and as Harley. So maybe we will get that movie. But that's the movie that we deserve.
Well,
is this
keep in
Joker
mind,
and Harley movie.
keep in mind that Justice League is next.
Yeah, which Jared Leto is.
Wonder
in
Woman
Justice
is
League.
next, but then again,
Well,
that's a completely different time. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, in this timeline, Justice League is next, and the mid-credit scene, which I thought was actually pretty decent.
I don't know this. I didn't stay for it because I was pissed.
Okay, there's a mid-credit scene where Amanda Waller and is in this same restaurant, and she's talking with Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
And she gives not Batman, but Bruce Wayne, and she gives him this binder of the remaining members of the Justice League that have not had movies yet. So they've got Aquaman, you've got the Flash, and the Flash is in this movie.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. He's in a flashback.
And then who the hell was the other person?
There was one
Cyborg. It wasn't Cyborg that they had a picture of. Did neither of you stay for the mid credits?
I ran up to go to the bathroom and thought I would get back in time, but I caught half I missed the binder scene, but I caught the dialogue.
Okay, there was like he handed her, and it was like it was Flash and Aquaman, but it wasn't Cyborg because it was one of the members of the Suicide Squad, but I forget who it is now off the top of my head. So and that's then you just basically say, don't worry, I'll get these guys together or something like that. So, I don't.
But
so that was
he said if you kill the program, didn't he say that? It's like terminate the program?
Something like that. I don't remember exactly. I just remember it being like, I'll get, so maybe if you terminate the program, we'll get these guys together or something like that. Maybe. So maybe what they're going to do is they're going to set up a Justice League versus Suicide Squad is going to be what Justice League's about. I don't know that, and that'd be awful.
That would be.
I don't know what's going to happen
fucking horrible.
Because Jared Leto is in Justice League. If you go to his IMDb page, he's in there. So I don't know what he's going to do with it.
Just so
really?
you guys know that they're getting a standalone Batman movie, so that might be the third. That might be the third one that Margot Robbie and Jared Leto were in.
Well, they didn't do something because those two. I was very hopeful because back, and I think all of us will agree, maybe, but back in 2008 when they said Heath Ledger is Joker, you're like, what the Knight's Tale guy? What the fuck? And he does a great job. And you have to definitely do something different to go over that standard that Heath Ledger did. And what I like about Jared Leto is that he didn't do Ledger. He did his own thing, which made me fall in love with him because he was so good as this version's Joker. This world that they're setting up, he's perfect for Joker in.
And you could definitely tell that they got a lot of inspiration from the new cartoons. I feel like they got like Jared Leto got a lot of his. Again, he's only in the movie for like 10 minutes. But I think he got a lot of his inspiration from Mark Hamill's Joker, because he's very gangster. He's very like methodical. He's not like he's grandiose. He's the Joker, but he's not like Heith Ledger's like, you want to know how I got these scars, Joker. And it's I think that's more where they probably got the inspiration from.
Right.
Maybe.
Just kind of loose cannon, unpredictable. Don't know what is going to happen next type Joker. Yeah, I think that was a good way. I liked his Joker.
Oh, I really liked his Joker too. But of course, the one that just captured me the entire time was Harley Quinn, because Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn, best casting ever. She was amazing in this.
Yeah,
she was wonderful.
She did a very good job, I think.
I mean, like, my favorite line is, what was that? You want me to kill them all right now and escape? Oh, I'm just kidding. That's the voices in my head. No, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. They didn't actually say that. I mean, like, it was just wonderful. I like her daddy's little devil or daddy's bad girl
Jay's a little
shirt
monster.
and those hot pants. Oh, God, those hot pants.
Yeah, they deserve their own credit.
Oh, God, I love those hot pants. But she was very Batman Arkham Asylum video game Harley. She wasn't the cartoon Harley, which I was
Yeah.
shocked about.
No, they're doing film verse. This is definitely away from a lot of the comic book stuff, and that's okay. I don't know. I feel like they should have done this movie a lot differently. I felt like if they wanted to wrap up a little bit more and give more Joker some story, what they should have done in the beginning, instead of kind of do the Deadshot and the Harley Quinn kind of filler that part, they should have opened it up with each one of them being captured or taken into jail. So that's what they should have done. Without explanation,
Hmm.
just kind of just rolling every once in a while, just like this is how Batman did it, and then just almost like what Zack Snyder's kind of known for is doing
Sure.
those long intros.
Can we all agree that Batman did not need to be in this movie at all?
Well,
Um,
the service.
Because
yeah.
I mean, there was no need for him to be. I mean, I don't personally care. I don't know if you guys do, but I don't personally care if he captured Deadshot or not. I don't give a fuck. You know,
Well,
like
but you keep in mind that he's in it for the plot point at the end of Will Smith, whether or not he like when he's hesitant to shoot that to shoot the C4 is because Enchantress puts in mind when he got caught. Which, pause for 2 seconds. Those dream sequences, that was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life in the history of film. Is these guys just all of a sudden they're hiding, but then they go into dream sequence, and then one person breaks out, and they're like, no, we have to stay hidden. Like that's just fucking stupid. Number one, but going back to my point was that like he was in it because he wanted to shoot him, and his daughter was like, "No, Daddy, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it." And then Enchantress puts back into his mind like that exact moment,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
breaks out of that, and he breaks out of that. So that's why Batman's in that movie
But they
because he
just
wants
didn't
to
need to
kill
be in it.
Batman.
No,
Yeah, yeah, but
I
that whole
think that
plot didn't need to be in it.
you're right. Well, I think that they're in it for. I think that was Warner Brothers' call, and I really think it's a horrible call. I really hope it wasn't DC's call. I think they're just doing it to kind of remind all the viewers that these movies are all linked. That these movies are all in the same kind of building blocks of what they're trying to do in the universe.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which my question is, where's Batman during this? Because okay, so here's a big plot hole for me. This is right after Batman versus Superman. What city is this in? Is this Metropolis or is this Gotham?
It's Gotham. It's Gotham.
No,
This
no,
is
no, no,
Gotham.
because Deadshot said that he's like, oh, I'm gonna return to Gotham.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
So we
Yeah.
don't know what city this is then.
Let me see if I can look it up. Let me see if I can.
I
Well,
guess we'd have to assume it's Metropolis then, which, as we now know from Batman versus Superman, is right across the river.
yeah. But this
So
is
Batman could have gone there.
but right there, that's my point. Let's just argue and say this is Metropolis until we find an answer. If we don't find an answer, it's Metropolis. But what I'm trying to say is that this happens right after Batman versus Superman. Enchantress destroys half the city.
Mhm.
People are dead. And then another stupid point, which I'm sure we'll get into, is that she turns human beings into these creatures from like Silent Hill soldiers.
I
True.
thought of the Putty Patrol from Power Rangers.
Nice.
Also.
Nice reference. But anywho, where's Batman during this? Like during this whole ordeal, because we see Batman take care of Deadshot in a flashback. You guys tell me that that Bruce Wayne / Batman is in a meeting with Amanda Wheeler, and a mid-credit sequence. So while all this is going on, why isn't Batman trying to save the city? And why isn't
Midway
I-
City.
Midway
Mid-
City. Oh, Midway
Midway
City
City.
is the Flash's city. Where the fuck is the Flash?
Yeah, right. I mean, has he been recruited yet?
Is it the Flash? Is it the Flash or is it the Arrow City?
Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Hawkman and Hawkgirl.
Oh, well, then even still, where the fuck are they?
Well, it still doesn't matter because, okay, guys, here's my point, though. They introduced Batman in this, and they had Flash in this for half a second, but Batman was in it more than the Flash. So what this movie would have been good, in my opinion, is to save this plot hole is that the Suicide Squad is in Midway City trying to do what they're supposed to do, but Batman's not knowing that, so he tries to fight them. So now we got Batman versus the Suicide Squad versus the Enchantress people. That would make a good struggle, right? Instead of this, oh, don't worry about it. Batman's off doing whatever he's doing for no fucking reason,
So
right?
you see
It doesn't,
exactly why this villain was too big for them. They should have been
way too
something
big.
more that they had more control over, rather than just being like, well, we don't know what's going on, but we're just gonna go in there and blow it up, and
Yeah,
it's not gonna matter. So I feel like they really missed the mark on a lot of different things here too.
they did.
Like
They did.
the writing and the directing were really did not come through this at all. The characters and their roles were fine. Like they're very believable as Deadshot, as Harley Quinn, as El Diablo, as all the other people, as Boomerang. They believed that they were who they were. That's great. I just felt that if the story was different, if the director kind of gave them a different, more meaning or purpose, it would have shown through a lot more. But it just didn't do it. It just
We're
did
gonna
not
get
do it
that.
here, man.
I guarantee you we're going to get that when it comes out on Blu-ray. We're going to get a more fleshed out movie. I guarantee you this movie's going to be half an hour longer when it's
No,
released on
I
Blu-ray.
guarantee you won't. I guarantee you when this movie comes out on DVD Blu-ray that you're just gonna get more Joker. That's what you're gonna get. I think that's what you're gonna get on this one, or
Really?
maybe yeah, or maybe some more maybe more setup dialogue between Amanda Waller and maybe some other people here too. But I don't think you're gonna get any further depth into any other character. Um, Slipknot's only purpose was to prove the example that they will die if they get out of line, step out of line,
Which
and get
is
shot.
stupid. Stupid.
Yeah, that's predictable. You gotta have one casualty in there, and that's fine. That was predictable. Like you gotta have that because these are people who aren't gonna, they need to be demonstrated or shown the obedience for it too. And again,
Yeah.
they needed to be shown that a little bit more because these people don't work well together. And so I think that if they give them more of a cause to like, oh shit, we are actually fucked if we don't actually work together type thing.
Mm.
But instead, they were just kind of like, yeah, okay, I guess we'll roll with it. Yeah, I'm an international criminal and I've killed these many people and I've stolen this many diamonds, but you know what? All right, we'll wing it here today. You
Well,
know.
this is why I think this is going to happen. I want you guys to help me with this because I watched the trailer. And for the fans that are listening, watch the first teaser trailer and the official first trailer. And you guys too, if you get a chance, and prove me wrong. These are the scenes that I picked out because I watched the trailer after the movie and realized they were not in the movie at all. The first thing is a big scene, which the reason I'm doing this, Eric, is to prove my point where I think, yes, we may get more Joker in the DVD Blu-ray, but I think we're going to get like an R-rated cut
Sure.
because the first scene is Joker in the trailer says, "I can't wait to show you my toys," and slaps the guy in the face. That's not in this movie. That's one.
Okay.
Number two is a stupid little scene. There's a shot of Deadshot there of him inside his cell, distance in his little window while it's raining, and there's a tear running down his face. That's not in this movie.
Okay.
The third one is they're all in the bar drinking, and everybody says, "What do you want to drink?" And Diablo says, "I'll have water." And Harley Quinn's like, "Oh, that's a good choice." That's number four. Number four, I think. The next one that I noticed is in the trailer, there is a scene where Joker's gang all has giant eyeballs as heads. They're wearing masks, and they're shooting up people. That's
Sure.
not in this movie.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's like 4 or 5 scenes that they were in the trailers that were not even in this movie. So that's why I believe that there's an extended, longer cut somewhere out there that we're going to get. Because that movie is the movie that we all want to see. I guarantee it.
The movie that I want to see is the one where DC has full control, where I don't want to see Warner Brothers tag on it at all. I just want to see one, and that's DC or Legendary. One of the two. I mean, that's the one that I want to see because that's what I see in the Marvel movies, and every Marvel movie that I've seen, maybe with the side from Ant-Man, has just been has worked. It has worked. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now, does Warner Brothers own DC like Disney and Marvel, or do they just own certain characters?
They own the movie production rights to it,
Yeah.
so they don't. I don't believe that they own DC. DC comics and characters are their own. but Warner
Okay.
Brothers owns DC movie stuff.
DC movie stuff. Okay, so like, and it also includes the animated movies too.
I believe so.
Okay. No, I was just curious.
Yeah, I
Well,
believe they did it a while. I mean, like we're talking like a while they did with Batman and stuff like that too.
okay.
You remember that like Mask of the Phantasm? That was a Warner Brothers movie.
Oh, okay.
The
All right.
actual old cartoon series was all Warner Brothers cartoon.
Okay.
Even the early Tim Burton Batman was Warner Brothers.
Yeah, of
Yes.
course.
So
Well,
so they kind of struck a deal, and they were like the funding and main parent of how DC can get into the movies. But um, again, we see that it works the other way. So you know, I God damn it, I'm getting a lot of gray hairs trying to bat for DC here. I really am. But
which is
Well, let's
yeah.
let's I mean let's dive into sort of the guy who wrote and directed the movie. What's his name? David Ayers.
okay, yeah,
Like I'm just sort of I've got his IMDb page up, and he wrote and directed this thing, but he's not really. I mean, he directed Fury, which I didn't see, the Brad Pitt movie a couple years ago. But the only thing that this guy's written other than Fury was Training Day, and Training Day was great, but it was you just going over this guy's IMDb page, like I could feel a lot of the same slow arcing in this movie that I could for that one, but this was just like on a much bigger scale. I think, and he also wrote the first Fast and the Furious movie, which we there's another tie in there from last week. But I think a lot of the problems lie in the fact that this movie was under directed and overwritten.
yeah.
Like I don't feel the character's motivation. I don't think that they know their motivation. I think they're doing their best job as actors to portray a character that they probably self-researched and then tried to portray in their light the words that were on the page. That's I sort of felt that way the whole movie, and so I guess that the best thing I can say is it's under directed and overwritten.
I think that's a great point because without continuing to beat a dead horse, before we get into our final reviews, I'm not mad about the movie. I'm not disappointed about the movie. It's just not the movie that I wanted. I mean, I've been waiting a year for this, and I think I was just more excited to see Harley and Jared Leto when I got that. So that's why I think I'm just more of a. It's not terrible, but it's still not Independence Day 2. So I guess that's my reference for me. But okay, so let's get into our ratings overall then. So let's go with Eric because I know you have a lot to say. Eric, do you recommend Suicide Squad?
Plain and simply, no. No, I don't. I was disappointed in it. I think everything you got from it, you could get from a trailer or reading someone else's review for it or something like that too. It was just like here are the hero or here are our anti-heroes. This is them working together. They beat the boss and then they go back home. That's it in a nutshell. There's nothing more to it. I found this movie to be very bland, very dry, very just kind of lame. The only interesting parts being with Joker and Harley Quinn. I maybe the guard actually with the guy from Mad TV, Ike Barnaholt,
Oh,
the security guard. I thought he was actually pretty entertaining too, but yeah, I just like him. But
And he
again,
goes away nowhere. He goes away nowhere. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's another reason why I think that there's more to this movie because Harley Quinn says to him when he gives her the cell phone, she goes, "Oh, you fucked up" or something like that, and we never see him again.
yeah, exactly. So they cut that out
So
too.
there's something else there. But sorry, Eric,
No,
my
no, no.
fault.
I just feel like I don't know. I wouldn't watch this in theaters. I don't think I would watch it on DVD. I don't want to. I have no reason to watch this movie again. I really don't. It's not that I'm saying that it was horrible. I'm just saying that after seeing it, I saw it. I have no reason to ever see it again. It's a
It's not
forgettable.
what you wanted.
No, it's not. It's a forgettable movie. It's just kind of like meh. It didn't leave a bad taste in my mouth. It wasn't like I'm going like, oh, this movie's fucking trash. It sucks. Duh, 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 duh. It's just I just have no reason to like this movie. That's
Yeah.
so. Yeah, I'm sounding like a disappointed parent right now.
Nice, nice.
It's kind
All
of what
right,
it is, but that's what I feel about it.
Ed, do you recommend Suicide Squad?
Dear God, no. I mean, for folks like us that love to have the idea of a universe in film, like to point to one thing in one movie and then it ends in the next movie and then they bring it up again in the third movie. Like, I like that concept, and the three of us will probably end up owning this movie simply because when the whole universe is done being done, like, at least we can go back and watch all the movies. Other than that, this movie, like, it doesn't suck, but it's not good. I have nothing positive I can say about this movie. The best thing, and I joked with you guys in our Facebook this conversation, is like the best thing about this movie was the Star Wars trailer at the beginning. Like, I was so hyped for this movie. Like you guys, I wanted to see Jared Leto as Joker, and I thought he knocked it out of the park. But he's in this movie for 5 minutes, and the story doesn't revolve around him at all. And I just think that, like, there's so much more they could have done. I think had they not made this a PG-13 movie, maybe they wouldn't have made their money back. But I don't know. I think they could have. Maybe they had a better movie along the lines. I don't know that either because it just there's nothing pointing to that for me. Like you guys have talked about, what we may or may not see in the director's cut. I don't know there's going to be any substance there either, to
Right.
be honest with you. And that's such a disappointment for me because, like, all these characters that I remember are so cool. The Joker's so cool. Harley Quinn so cool. Deadshot, like, they're cool. Like, the only thing Deadshot cares about is his daughter, and he'll kill anybody to do anything about it. So, like, there could have been so much more, and it's just not there. And for that, unless you love film like us and you're going to go see movies anyway, I don't even necessarily, I'd say, recommend it to anybody, but I have no intentions on doing anything other than owning this movie as part of my collection when the DC film universe is done.
Good point. All right, fair enough. I myself am going to give this a not recommend either, but some of the issues that I brought up, I'm not going to. This movie's racist. I mean, honestly, and the reason why I say that is because Killer Croc is a very stereotypical black man for some reason. Boomerang is a drunk Aussie, which, I mean, come on, that's a stereotype, right?
Yeah, right. Always a beer in the hand.
Always a beer in the hand. Uh, uh, what's his face? Oh my God, guys, I'm so sorry.
What, Diablo, the Mexican?
Thank you, Diablo, the Mexican, which is fine, but then he turns into a voodoo doll, which has nothing to do with Mexican culture. But anywho, so that's weird. It's just, I mean, Deadshot is not really racist, but it's like the minor characters were, and I was just kind of like done with it. I was really done with it. This movie wanted to be Harley and Joker, and when it was Harley and Joker, it was the best parts of the movie. Other than that, this movie didn't care. The director's the writer. The studio didn't care about Croc or Diablo or Slipknot. Clearly, they didn't care about Slipknot. But it's just, yes, I agree with both of you. This is a movie that you want to stream on Netflix. It's not good. It's just not good. It's a very, very disappointing movie. This movie is I'm not mad at you, Suicide Squad. I'm just disappointed in you. So that's what this
Go to your
movie
room
is.
without dinner.
Yeah.
Go to your room. Go to your room. And I know I'm going to be a parent in a few weeks. So I know already, right? But maybe next week, fans, and also with Eric and Ed, we'll have a great time because literally next week, we are reviewing Sausage Party, which who isn't excited to see this?
I'm excited.
Now, we know this movie's not going to do anything. This movie's probably not going to be great, but I'm going in this looking, just having a good fucking time.
No, this is a stoner movie, and it'll, however much money they put into it, they'll probably make it back and then some. I think I'm actually hoping that this movie does well because it will show that rated R comedies do a lot better.
Yeah.
Than
Yes.
than the regular PG-13 comedies. I think people, because of their being desensitized by the internet, I think they want a bit more raunch, a bit more, cursing and stuff like that. They want more vulgarity in a movie, and I think a rated R comedy, it really shows through.
No, yeah, and I'm really excited for that. And then after Sausage Party, we're going to end the rest of the summer with War Dogs, the Jonah Hill flick that's coming out,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm excited to see that.
I am too. I am too.
Yeah,
So
that'd be a
we'll
good one, I
see
think.
how that goes. So we'll check those movies out. But of course, guys, like always, we hope you appreciate this episode and like it. If you continue to like our episodes, make sure to go to movieguyspodcast.com. Make sure to check us out on iTunes, search Movie Guys Podcast, and on our Twitter page, Movie Guys Pod. And you can find this review and others like Star Wars The Force Awakens, Deadpool. We review pretty much new movies that come out. So if you ever want to get a chance to check them out before you see the flick or afterwards, make sure to go to the downloads. But other than that, for Eric and Ed, thanks guys for joining me, and we'll be back next week for a sausage party. Have a
Thank
good night,
you.
guys.
Good night.
And I'm gonna have a sausage party right now.